Kia ora koutou, Markie here in the mobile studio under a glowering sky. The weather's changed, so it's been more rain today and some nice clouds, some interesting clouds going by. So last time I shot a video, I was upstaged by at least 2 seals. So I don't know if I'm going to be upstaged today. Could be theoretically, because in the sea here we get all kinds of things. So I've never seen them, but blue whales, among other types of whales, and sharks, including great whites, and dolphins, a rare subspecies of dolphin called the Maui dolphin, or is it Maui or Maui's dolphin, which is a subspecies of Hector's dolphin, which are very rare. So who knows, you know, we might see something. I usually get distracted by something because this is a neurodivergent channel, an ADHD channel. It's a completely AI free, production free, editing free channel. It's kind of like a conversational friendly channel, and it's you know, it's like sitting down by the fire and, you know, having a chat. Really, that's how you need to think about this channel. Now back along, and I was waiting for Gwendolyn. She was in the supermarket, and you know, we were being super efficient. She was, you know, because I always think it's crazy to, you know, it's a waste of resources for you know, both partners to go around the supermarket. I always think it's better for one person to do it and the other to do something else. And quite often it's me that does it, and quite often it's Gwendolyn that does it. But when she does, if I'm sitting in the car, I tend to do something, like either watch a video usually or make a video. So I made a few videos. I have my book of poetry with me, and I as I've been wanting to for a while, recited some poems, classic poems, and I did The Owl and the Pussycat by Edward Lear, or I thought I did, and then I realized afterwards that I hadn't recorded, so I'm going to record it now. So the benefit of that having gone wrong is you get a better view, although actually I'm going to show you the pages, because it's easier for me to point the camera at the pages while I'm reading. It also means you can read along if you so wish. So yeah, so Edward Lear, pick up the book. I'll show you the book. If you didn't watch my other videos where I read the poetry, I'll show you the state of the book, because, you know, that's a book that's well read, isn't it? And been carried around a lot. This is my little kind of Bible. I take great pleasure and great comfort in rereading the same poems generally, over and over again. Now normally, you know, I read them, you know, quietly in my head, but when I was reciting stuff recently, I just, you know, reminded me how enjoyable it is to read them out loud, which is what I'm about to do. And I've just eaten, and when I've just eaten, I usually have a bit of a post meal cough, which can be very irritating. So I apologise in advance for that cough. I'm sure it's going to raise its ugly little head at some point or other. So I don't know much about Edward Lear, 1812 to 1888. Okay, so this poem is a lot older than I would have imagined or thought. And I believe, I don't know for sure, but I think I've read or heard somewhere that Edward Lear was an inspiration for John Lennon in some of his lyrics. And in the previous video that didn't get properly recorded, I told the tale of how so that, you know, some of the lyrics, the Beatles lyrics that would, you know, most, you know, have a resemblance to Edward Lear would be I Am the Walrus, which is also one of my favourite Beatles songs. And I told a little anecdote. They were recording, I think they were on tour for the film The Magical Mist, not on tour, but they were touring around in a bus filming the Magical Mystery Tour movie. And they were in Devon, because one of them, I can't remember which one it was, I think it was George Harrison, used to go to Devon as a kid, and they decided therefore, you know, let's go and film in Devon. And they're on Dartmoor. I believe it was the Two Bridges pub, but I could be wrong. And somebody, you know, presumably from the kitchen, said something like, oh, is the egg man here? Meaning the guy that delivers the eggs. But I think it was John Lennon, you know, thought, oh, the egg man. and then, you know, and obviously instantly had this picture of a man that's, you know, part man, part egg. Now, of course, you know, the Beatles' imagery and lyrics were heavily influenced by LSD, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. But also, I've heard it said that John Lennon had ADHD, which is interesting, because with ADHD, which is something I have, you tend to make more connections between different things, which is why I've said in other videos, particularly the videos I've done about stand-up comedy, that most stand-up comedians, I would say, are probably ADHD, because you see the world in a slightly different way. And one of the things that I've commented on in a recent video about poetry is that, you know, the role of the artist is to see things that you don't necessarily spot, or see them in a way that you wouldn't see them, and then translate that to you. That's the role of the artist, or that's one way of looking at it anyway. I'm sure there's plenty of others. So yeah, so you'll see when if you're not familiar with this, I mean, it's an old classic, you know, you probably are. But if you're a whippersnapper, I don't know. I mean, is this a sort of poem that young people are still being exposed to? I really don't know. You'll you know, maybe see the kind of, you know, how some of the Beatles lyrics, you know, might kind of have a resonance. I'm trying to get the coughs out of the way before I begin the actual poetry. Oh, lost me focus. Oh, right. The owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money wrapped up in a £5 note. The owl looked up to the stars above and sang to a small guitar. "Oh, lovely pussy, oh, pussy, my love, what a beautiful pussy you are. You are, what a beautiful pussy you are." Pussy said to Owl, "You elegant fowl, how charmingly sweet you sing. Oh, let us be married, too long we have tarried. But what shall we do for a ring?" They sailed away for a year and a day to the land where the Bong-tree grows. And there in a wood a Piggy-wig stood with a ring at the end of his nose. His nose, with a ring at the end of his nose. "Dear pig, are you willing to sell for 1 shilling your ring?" said the piggy. "Oh, you will." So they took it away and were married next day by the turkey who lives on the hill. They dined on mince and slices of quince, which they ate with a runcible spoon, and hand in hand on the edge of the sand they danced by the light of the moon. The moon, they danced by the light of the moon. I love that. I think it's a lovely little poem, isn't it? Very silly, but that's the whole point. So just a footnote. That reference to a runcible spoon. Now, I'm sure that's made up. It's a good word, isn't it? A runcible, especially if you roll your R's like I just did. So I always refer to, you know, you have a spoon, like a big serving spoon that's got holes in it that that you would use for, I would use it for things like peas or sweet corn, so, you know, loose sweet corn, something like that. Where, you know, you want to, it's in the hot water, you want to put it on the plate, you want to kind of spoon it out of the saucepan, but you don't want hot water on the plate making it all runny and watery, so you use that spoon that's got the holes in, and it does a lovely job. I always refer to that as a runcible spoon, and I've kind of inadvertently kind of fooled a few people in my time into thinking that that's actually a proper name for such a spoon, because I've always said, "Oh, have you got the runcible spoon?" And I haven't kind of got into why I call it that, but I call it that because it just seems to make sense that, you know, that sort of spoon should have a name, and it shouldn't have a boring name like, you know, a draining spoon, which is probably what it's really called. I think, you know, I think of that as a runcible spoon. So and I would like to invite you to spread the same misinformation and just refer from now on to those kinds of spoons as runcible spoons, and just say, you know, casually to people, don't make a thing of it, don't give away the source of, you know, the source of the name, and just say, "Oh, you know, have you seen the runcible spoon?" And, you know, maybe one day that will just become fixed in culinary culture. That is a runcible spoon. I hope so. Little things please little minds, but I like things like that. So thank you for watching. I'll be back again with another video. Could be about poetry, could be about almost anything else. Just by watching this video to the end, you are helping people, because we are about helping people with retroactive jealousy and other things as well, but primarily retroactive jealousy, and we have videos on how to recover from that. And the more you watch stuff, whether it's about runcible spoons or retroactive jealousy, it means YouTube promote all our videos more widely and more people get the help. So you've done something good for the world and for other people and for me, so I thank you for that. And on that note, Rangi Marie, catch you later.